Probably for the best.
Okay,
The
now we're...
guard's always up.
Welcome to the Secret Adventure Society, the meeting. Welcome to order.
I'm so caught off guard.
Oh, whoa.
I'm going to try to keep the announcements short and sweet, so like roll your dice as quick as you can.
I've already rolled.
Oh.
Whoa. You've seen it here, folks.
I've thought I've fucking seen everything.
Blue moon.
As always, thank you so much for tuning in, whether you are listening or watching live on Twitch or watching on YouTube. We love you, and we hope you like this wackadoo story that we're telling. Like I said, I'm going to keep the announcements short and sweet, but know that coming up very, very soon, as in we just a moment ago in this timeline that we all share recorded a promo for this thing, but know that very, very soon, likely before our next session, we're going to have some pretty big announcements, some pretty big news. There are some things that we're working on that we're really, really excited about, and we think you guys are really, really going to enjoy them. So keep an eye out on socials and in all the various Discords and all that fun stuff just over the next few days. As I said, short and sweet announcements. Previously on the Secret Adventure Society, while en route to Navira to seek out one of the 3 legendary Eternal Embers, you stopped at a curious waterfall to try and find treasures left behind by one of your arch nemeses, Scott. The waterfall actually spoke and played pranks on you before informing you that Scott had actually been there a few hours before in search of something. Assuming he was hopping from one hiding spot to the next, as indicated by the map you all possessed that you stole from him in Larsom, you made your way to the ink. I can prove that. Well, I have videographic evidence. You made your way to the Inktree Glade, where you had never been before, a dense forest with trees that actually ooze this inky black sap, and octopus-like creatures actually swing from the trees above the forest floor. There you found a kind of cave, invisible to the naked eye and hidden above the forest itself, high above the forest itself. Inside this cave were dozens of potions and books on potion making, and as you searched for anything familiar, you actually heard a voice from the past before you all saw the magistrate of New Hexton, Idej Zot, who you all thought to be dead after watching him drink void essence in front of Pierce and Jindy, actually appeared. And he actually wasn't as strong as his confidence betrayed. However, so upon seeing him, you all handily defeated him, and even though, man, I'm not doing good with my words tonight. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
This is the first
I'm trying to like make eye contact with the camera, and I'm looking back at my notes.
48 episodes that he's ever done that, by the way, that he's ever messed that up.
It's also the first time in 48 episodes that you didn't go, wait, hold on, when he started. So that probably threw off his whole group.
I have a bad feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I have a bad feeling about tonight's episode.
Oh no.
Gonna die.
I'm gonna say this. My Pierce dice just rolled 2 natural 20s. I never have it in this, and I'm worried.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
does it also bode well that like I've lost my Q dice.
I thought your Q dice were virtual.
I had 1 golden D20 when he switched
Oh.
class, or like gained a new class. I bought him a golden D20.
It's gold.
Brenna gave it to me. But
Anyway,
We beat up someone.
Anyway, yeah, you guys kicked the ass of the long dead, so you assume Magistrate Idej Zot, and however, you were not quite sure that you had defeated him for good based on some conversation that you had with him previously. After that, maddened and in search of dirt to create Lifewell essence, Kess transformed into an earth elemental and started to dig, apparently not remembering that the cave you all were in was actually a magical conjuration high above the ground. She plummeted using Thorn Whip to drag Pierce behind her, leaving Q and Pongu to set fire to the cave. They did so, Pongu gliding gracefully with the help of his wings out of the inferno above, and Q wallowing in a free fall before bouncing away in a protective bubble, like a rogue pinball. And that is where we begin tonight's session. You have all gathered your composure after fighting Idej and free falling. At this point, it's late in the afternoon, early evening. So, the nobodies. The day is yours. At least the rest of it.
Ow! Did I say ow?
Yeah. My back.
You guys don't look so great.
Oh my
Your
god.
bone's supposed to do that.
Cass,
What?
we're gonna have to have a chat about your
No.
scientific method going forward.
It was. I forgot. We've done a lot of stuff, and it just felt like we were in a cave, and I forgot we were 50 feet off the ground in the trees. Anyways,
Did you run out of spell slots? You couldn't like turn into a bird.
well, I can't turn into anything until I rest. I could have polymorphed, but I thought that the thorn whip. I thought I could just hang on. And apparently, Pierce wasn't strong enough.
Oh.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I'm just saying, all you had to do was just.
We
Hold
did
on.
light the thing on fire, so we at least accomplished that.
At least someone listened to me.
That's good.
Yeah, always listen. We just don't always follow through.
Okay. Pierce stands up and he tries to like pat himself down, like knock the dirt and dust off, but it hurts when he does. So he just winces, but he's standing.
Pongu's
also-
going to.
It's like ink. You're covered in
Oh,
ink.
right, yeah.
Can I press the digitation some of it off, or
You can try. Yeah, sure.
Pongu's gonna? If I may, I can get you spotless, maybe, possibly. I don't know what this stuff is.
No, that'd be great.
Pongu attempts to like wizard it off.
Yeah, easily enough. You're able to just like, whoop, and it kind of in a weird backwards car wash sort of situation. It like flies backwards off of Pierce.
I'm gonna say that Pongu does it, but on his back there's still just like a little spot, and it's like a happy face of ink. But he leaves that there. Yeah, things look great.
All right, the bones still hurt, but this looks better. Do not you let Cass wallow in ink.
I go.
Oh,
This is her fault.
I go over and stick my hands out.
Oh, okay.
Mongu, let
Pierce.
her learn a lesson.
Okay. Pongu like fishes out like a treat and is just like trying to eat it without and not make eye contact.
I just changeling it all off, and I'm clean.
Oh, right. Ugh.
I don't like lessons. I just walk.
Says the rich kid.
Don't like lessons.
So we have 3 more spots to visit.
Do you think we'll have like people popping up from our backstory in all 3 places, or
It has
is
to
this,
be a
like,
one-off.
one-time thing?
It's a backstory.
I mean,
Yeah, everybody's got a backstory.
Yeah.
it ain't Doctor Who. Like,
Or-
somebody's got to die at some point, right?
Or past, I guess, would be the better.
Well, it says right here on my characters. I mean, no,
My emotion.
I don't want to go to the next one and being like, knock, knock, knock. Oh, there's my dead mother. You know, like,
Or a zombie Zephy tries to eat our brains or something.
zombie Zephy.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like, I'm Dorf and I was doing necromancy the whole time. I fooled you.
Yeah. Yeah, that would suck.
You
Okay.
know,
So, which are we going to
I've
the
forgotten who
peninsula
all-
next?
has
Oh.
died and who's not died.
Oh,
Who have we
well,
left alive? Can we just
everybody.
run through that?
Everybody is alive.
Everybody's alive.
Yeah.
Now that he's back. Previously, he was a death.
Everyone except for Nice Ghost and Dead Jeff. And
Oh. Well, we could stand to see them again.
So what's closest to us?
well, I don't know.
So- Shallow
travel.
Grave, Evercrest, or Eldgard Peninsula?
Evercrest is probably a lost cause because if they're on Evercrest, they've probably already gone to that one. Right?
It would
Possibly.
be, yeah, that logic's out.
So, Shallow Grave or the Peninsula.
Well, hold on. If it's, I hate to see it say that anything's a lost cause.
Right. But should we go straight to Evercrest whenever we don't even know where it's at and there's a giant green tentacle light in the sky?
No.
When they're already there working with the giant green tentacle light in the sky?
I see your point.
I'm just...
So, Shallow Grave.
Well,
Sounds lovely.
okay.
It's actually a nice place.
So if we go to the peninsula first, then I can get us to Shallow Grave immediately. But I can get us south, but I can't get us all the way to the peninsula with a tree. Because I didn't
Okay.
travel, I haven't ever traveled that far, but I can get us pretty far south.
Okay, then let's do the far one first. Good idea.
And then I can pop us into Shallow Grave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Before I do anything though, I have got to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys are gonna try to take a long rest, find a place to set up camp.
We're gonna succeed, Zach. We're gonna succeed in taking a long rest.
I'm not here to editorialize.
I'm gonna tiny hut us up.
Okay.
Do we need
Okay.
to take watches? You think?
Yep, on that time.
I
I'll
can
do
watch.
first.
Okay, you two will stay up then, yeah?
Sure.
Aren't they the most hurt?
Yeah.
You're actually, yeah, that's true. Do you all want to take first sleep?
No, we'll do first watch and then
Sleep through the rest. of the night.
sleep through the rest.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay.
What could possibly go wrong, Pongu?
Pong is asleep already.
All right. Pierce and Cass, can I get you to make perception checks, please? As the sun sets over the Inktree Glade, the shadows become longer, and you become more aware, almost as though the octopi who or the octopus-like creatures who live in this glade, who are most prominent in this glade, and you also see birds and things out and about. Excuse me. But as you bed down for the evening, you notice a lot more like sound of tentacles squishing and moving about and making their way through inky limbs and vines and things as they make their way to wherever they nest. It seems to be an evening ritual for them. What are those perception checks?
25.
Okay.
9.
25 and 9. Pierce, you fall asleep after about an hour. You're hurt pretty bad and you're a little pissed off. So you fall asleep pretty quickly. Kess, you sit in a bit of a meditative state for a little while, just looking at these strange surroundings and admiring the plant life, thinking about what hidden animal life is in this glade that you've not even yet seen, thinking about the adventure that you've had so far and what could possibly be lying ahead of you. And several hours pass. And nothing particularly of note takes place.
I would like to grow a flower, but not try to connect, just grow it.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna try to kind of wake Pierce up.
Okay.
Pierce. Pierce.
Don't shoot. What?
Yeah, I want to fly up to the thing again. And
You want to fly twice as high?
Yep. But I just want to go check and see if I'm curious about if the void water burned. I just want to know if it can burn. You don't have to go. I just can tell you that
with you.
You don't have. Oh, okay. Eagle. I turned it into an eagle. That was me doing.
You have the wild shapes left to do that?
If it's at the end of my watch, then I would have gotten them all back from short rest.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So yeah, you fly up. You guys made camp, I imagine, pretty close to where the place was.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice there is an absence. There's no voice trying to speak to you as you make your way upward. You feel like whatever magic had been speaking to you the previous day when you were making your way into this place in the first place. You feel like whatever that is has been dispelled, or something. So you fly up, and you fly up through this little hole in the middle of space and time, I guess, and you fly into this hole, and inside you see scorch marks everywhere. Everything is burned. There's nothing but like ash and carbon. In the middle of this room, all of the shelves are gone. There are broken bottles, and in the middle of this room is the essence that was left the day before, untouched, unevaporated.
Is it void or life?
It is void.
Well, shit, they did a good job. I'll be damned. Is this pride? Am I proud of them?
I mean,
They did good.
That would be fair, yeah. You told them to do it, they did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you crying?
No. That's very smoky in here
Oh.
from the stuff that they did extraordinarily well,
Yeah?
and they did a great job. That's all. And it still hurts.
Right.
My entire body hurts.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with this. I don't want to leave it here, but we can't take it.
Should we put a sign up that says slippery when wet and call it a day?
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of thinking about pouring it on the forest floor and mixing it with the ink.
What?
I feel like it
I wanna
needs
give
to
you
be
credit.
part of nature, Pierce.
You, at the very least, said your thought before you did the thing, so I appreciate that. That's progress.
Okay.
You don't know what the hell that's gonna do.
Yeah?
Also, I can't tell the difference between void water and ink, and if it's all mixed together, I mean, what if some thing just waltzes across it and melts into a pile of goo?
To be honest, I feel like maybe possibly it hitting the ground will turn it back into life well. Like into life essence, because the dirt and stuff does.
What happens when we touch life essence?
Nothing?
Do we melt into a pile of goo?
No, but you can't drink it.
Yeah, we know that.
Apparently, unless you are void touched? I don't know. What's his face? What's this dude? Dude we just killed. Kind of, sort of, maybe, possibly dead. I mean, it melted him. But he was fine with void stuff. So...
Yeah, I kind of want to go for a hat trick on that guy.
Yeah.
I think if I can get a third kill in, I think I'll feel really good. Anyway. why don't you take a little bit, go down, put it in the ink, see if it changes, and if it's safe, then just, I guess, blow out the floor here or carve out the floor here in a much more responsible, controlled way than we did last night. But if it doesn't change, I would recommend we just leave it up here so that, a kid doesn't find it trying to fish for octopi or whatever.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, can I turn you into an eagle? Because I can only do it like one more time and we gotta get back up here and then back down again.
Yeah.
Poof.
Caw.
Exactly what he sounds like.
And I'm gonna get some of the. I'm guessing I have extra vials from essence I've used up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get some of it, and then tell him to fly me down there.
Okay. So yeah,
So,
easily
Pierce-
enough. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Eagle Pierce, probably a little wobbly in the air.
That's fair.
Oh, not too good at this.
Not the smoothest flight. A little bit of turbulence, 50 feet here.
I give him
up
guidance.
up in the atmosphere, but he's not making a roll.
No, I do not. Never mind. It is concentration, and so is polymorph. So never mind.
Yeah.
I give him guidance.
Second time you fell from that height. Man, I wish.
I wish. Yeah.
That'd have been great. But no.
Did y'all see it?
I want someone to have gift locked spit take because it was perfect.
It's everywhere.
The second spit take on this call, by the way.
It's fine.
So Pierce and
okay.
Kess, you make your way down to the ground. Kess with a vial of the void essence. Very very easily. A little spinny, little wobbly, Pierce, but largely fine. You make it to the ground.
Okay.
As Kess does whatever she's doing, because Pierce is in bird form, he's kind of like stamping around, just like getting a feel for being an eagle. He kind of slaps the ink with his wing, just learning about the bird body. So he's just walking around acting like an ass while Kess is doing whatever she's doing.
I'm gonna pick up some ink and put it in the vial instead of pour the vial on the ink.
Okay. So when you put the ink inside the vial, a moment passes, and another, and it's different than it's been in the past. But eventually it swirls and it becomes the same life essence that you're familiar with, the same life well essence you're familiar with.
Woo! Okay. Is Pierce stomping around?
When she says "woo," his head turns like all the way around like an owl.
Exorcism.
Caw.
And I get my I pour it out in the ink.
Okay.
And I get my book, my notes, and I go over to Pierce and I take his bird foot and I make a bird foot stamp in my notebook.
Okay.
Caw.
And then I sit it over by the hut and let it dry because I don't want to close it up. And then I tell him to take me back up there.
Pierce stares at her for a second because she's stamped his foot for some reason. And then puts a wing out for her to climb up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
Cause he jumps up into the air.
Imagine Pidgeotto.
Okay, so you get back up into the cave. What are you doing?
So it's a pool of water. Well, it's void water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna try to mold earth on the ground under it and see if it falls through like I did.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna make you make any kind of roll for that or anything. You just sort of you mold the earth and you move it away, and eventually a second hole opens up in the floor, and all of the void essence just drops to the ground, and you see it just slide whistle, just like in free fall, and then you see it splash into the ink. And you can just barely see it in the light from the moons. You can just barely see it splash into the ink, and it's difficult to tell what happens from this height.
Okay. Well,
Caw.
let's go back down there. Don't land in the ink, or in that ink. I'll steer you. Okay.
So you make your way back down.
I just don't want
atop-
him to put his bird feet in it.
Pierce, when you get there, it is incredibly clear what is and what's not to step in, because the entirety, this enormous, like kiddie pool sized thing of void water, has emptied onto the ground, and there's chunks of rock and things below as well, like floating inside it. But there is a massive puddle of life well water.
It's not void anymore.
Nope.
For sure. Okay.
For sure. Cass, make an intelligence check.
I don't know which dice to use. Okay.
Or I'll give you intelligence or religion, whichever you prefer.
They're both the same. It's a 17.
17. Something resonates deep in your core, in your chest, as you're looking at this. Something is... You've mixed life well water and dirt and earth before. You've created life well water, it seems like, from, or rather the essence therein, from materials on hand before. And you've seen it happen, but there is something almost spiritual happening within you. As you watch this, as you look at it, you remember the life wells on the Crescent Isles that you meditated with, that you trained with. This is not simply a puddle of life essence. This is a life well. You've created a life well.
I just am like tearing up and probably drop concentration on Bird Pierce. And I just start like gathering rocks and trying to like build a little like well around, also with mold earth. Like I just kind of want to get it in a little, its own little welly well.
Sure.
Pierce sees what she's doing and doesn't say anything, but is trying to find rocks to place alongside.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, after probably about an hour, you all are able to create this pleasant little koi pond, little rock feature around what had previously basically looked like a glorified puddle. But there is a luminescence coming from this water that's shining onto the branches of the trees. So much so that there are a couple of the octopus creatures who have like stirred from their nests and come and like droop down to look at it, and then scuttled back up and clambered away.
It's weird to create something We always, I guess, try to do good, I guess. But it feels weird to have created something and not destroyed it.
Feels nice.
I said weird. But it's nice.
I don't know how many more there are, but... Or how many there were, but there's one more now. The only thing we knew is that, like, all the ones in Evercrest were gone, so... This is kind of... cool.
I think the Well Keepers would have been proud of you.
Thank you.
And suddenly I want a Macron.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds nice. We could have gone back to Mardosta tonight to sleep. I still have the doorknob.
Well, damn.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm actually gonna sleep right here, and I sit down in the ink beside the Lifewell water, and I sleep beside it.
It's a little cold, but you get used to it pretty quickly.
Okay, I turned into a saber-toothed tiger, and I sleep there.
Okay.
A white saber-toothed tiger, and I'm just gonna.
Covered in ink. Look like a saber-toothed zebra.
I'm as clean as I can be. It's an ink forest, man.
Do you all wake Pongu and Q before?
Well, I guess if Kes just like curls up as a white saber-toothed tiger, half in black ink, he's just gonna go, okay, and then I walk back to the hut, and he'll kick Pongu up first. Oi, mate.
What? Breakfast? You need breakfast?
Nope. I need you and the kid to go take watch so that I can try to heal everything that went wrong today.
Yeah. You know, let Q sleep. Me and Nalani we'll be fine.
I mean, he gets a fucking ton of that shit, so I think he'd be okay. Going with you, unless you want to be alone. Do you want to be alone?
You know, he's a yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you all take a nap.
You are
Needs
acting
he's a growing lad.
suspicious.
It's a growing lad.
Pierce walks over and he takes his jacket off and he sets it down and he sees the smiley face and he sighs, but he doesn't he doesn't yell. He just decides to pull it over him like a blanket and go to sleep.
And that you do. Pongu, can I get a perception check from you, please?
Perception.
He has Nalani, so does he have help?
Yes, you can do so with advantage.
Okay. One moment. Passive, yeah? Or just regular?
Just
Flat?
regular perception.
Okay, so 27.
27. Okay.
It critted or nat 20s on both.
Very nice. So, you step outside the tiny hut, and you sense something. And you see a glow. And Pierce didn't really explain to you what was going on. But you travel in the direction of the glow, and you see Kes in her saber-toothed tiger form. I would say easily enough you've been traveling with her long enough to recognize that it's her. And also assume so, since there are no saber-toothed tigers, at least that you've seen in this forest. So, you go over there and you see this water feature that was not there earlier, and you recognize it as a life well. You know exactly what this is.
Pongu gets a little closer and puts out Nalani, who I would say I would have summoned her as an owl form. So, this Lonnie, are you seeing this?
She nods.
I don't remember. What? This is new.
She nods again.
Are you unable to talk to me now?
That's
Wait,
what I
did
was.
we decide
That's
on
what I
last-
was just thinking.
She spoke last time, so I don't know.
I've lost my voice.
Oh no.
I told you to stop smoking all those Marlboros. It's bad for you, even though you're an ephemeral being.
I love like when she's away now. My headcanon is that she's like kicked back in like a closet with a cigarette.
Yeah.
And when
We're at a fucking
Pongus
casino
summons her,
somewhere.
she's like, oh fuck, and then like,
Just like puts it out on her wing or something.
Telepathically.
This was not here before, Pongu.
Yeah. Do you think Cass did it? I mean, I'm guessing.
That would seem to be a wise assumption, yes.
This is new, yeah? Like, in general, I've never, in all our years, this is new.
We've never seen one of these on the continent before.
Do you think anyone needs to know?
I do believe they'll find out soon enough.
Interesting. How have you been? I know I feel like I really get to talk to you.
Well, I've had a bit of a cough.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it when you come out and join the adventure, but you're all, I'm sure it's quite lovely in your pocket dimension with the rest of the other familiars and all that other stuff.
It is, yes. I've begun a whirlwind romance.
Do
The
tell.
scorpion.
The
You
score.
With a scorpion, yes.
Really?
Lovely.
I'm so proud of you. You've been working on
I've been working on my trust issues, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely noticed some of those with our little traveling group here, but they're all good eggs.
I tend to agree. Do you mind if I smoke?
Yeah, of course. Just you know what I said. I'm not going to be a stickler, but back when I was a cleric, they said using those types of sticks not very good for you. But you have a very long life because I think you're immortal, so it's fine.
Well, there's that.
God, if I were immortal, I would smoke every day.
But I do have this vape pen, and she tries to pull out she's holding it wrapped around her wing.
Did Nyx give you that?
No, he would never.
I know he's been tinkering, or at least he tinkered a bunch of other stuff, but yeah. They're doing fine. Yeah, do you get to talk to Nyleena's familiars?
Not quite as often. They're wrapped up in their own time things, it seems.
It's always wrapped up. Keeps
Always
Nyx
wrapped
busy
up.
all the time.
He has his hands full. That much is for certain.
Yeah.
She blows vape smoke rings.
Oh,
the
that's
opposite of a truth.com commercial.
Yeah.
do you?
Did you know vaping gives you superpowers?
If you're immortal, you can smoke as much as you want.
As much as you want.
Just don't do it around Q. He's still a bit scared of you, at least when you're in a owl form or large.
Isn't it fun to fuck with him sometimes?
It's not nice. It's funny, but
Didn't
it's
say it
not
was
nice.
Nice. I said it was fun.
Oh, you. So, what do you think? It's been a few weeks now with this group.
I find myself thinking back to when you had all your charges, all the people you would help.
Yeah. We helped a lot of creatures and whatnot, yeah.
I can't quite decide whether these are the charges you're helping, or if you're helping them help charges of their own.
You know,
What do you think?
I think only time will truly tell, yeah?
Hmm.
We've done a lot of work, and most of it's good, I hope. It's been quite a journey since leaving the other side. Pongu looks down into the life well, and looks a little forlorn and mysterious and all that stuff, and just goes, "Yeah, it's been some time."
Do you wonder how much time has passed for them?
I'm quickly learning that time is very weird.
That it is. People say it's weirder here or weirder there, weirder on this plane, weirder for this species of creature. I think time is just weird for everyone.
Yeah. Is it hard to be away from your friends in the familiar plane?
Not as much as I would think, as I would have thought.
Because any time you want to stay there, you don't have to be beholden unto me like you were before.
She reaches out one of her talon claws and just wraps it around your thumb. Of course, I know. She
All right.
kind of hops up and perches on your shoulder.
I appreciate you, old friend. We've got our work cut out for us. Not just with this lot, but everything else. The wedding is still sometime to come, and Her Royal Highness is not very good at communicating until the very last moment. So,
but again, I feel as if she kind of turns her head all the way around and looks back around and then stares into the life well for a little while. I feel as if when you need to know, you'll know. At least I certainly hope so.
when she says that, something triggers in Pongu, and he reaches up and he taps on his monocle, and he looks down at the life well water. Is there anything in particular that stands out differently now that he has this apparatus that he didn't have before around life wells?
Interesting. So no.
Okay.
I had to reread the monocle, but no. It you recognize it. It's the same sort of life well you've seen thousands of times. But this one is certainly new. And Cass is snoring and purring basically right there next to you.
Legs twitching.
Yeah.
Like she's chasing
Ear.
something.
Pongu would like to get closer to the water, looking over it, almost like Narcissus looking over the pond.
Okay. Yeah, you get closer, and as you get closer, as your face gets closer, you see a ripple spread across, and it's there's a ripple, and at the same time there's almost like ding, like a high resonant frequency reverberating with the ripple across the pond.
And has that happened before with Ponku?
It's been a while since you've seen a life well, but you've seen stranger things. It doesn't necessarily alarm you.
Which
You know that.
Thank you.
What?
That took me a second. No,
I got it.
Yeah.
Last thing before Ponku, does he have a sense that it operates like the past life wells that he's encountered?
Make an Arcana check.
And I have Milani with me.
Mm-hmm.
15.
You have no reason to believe it would operate any differently.
Ooh. Pongu has this look on his face of just kind of curiosity, but also a little bit of worry. He'll leave Lonnie with Cass to make sure that she's not alone and someone's watching over her. And then he'll eventually just post up until the shift ends.
Okay. Post up back at the tiny hut.
Yeah, somewhere, if I can see both. I don't know how far apart.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be able to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so you post up with Nalani watching Cass and looking and admiring oddly enough, the stonework that Cass and Pierce have put up around this. You recognize that it's probably something that they would have done. The sun begins to rise and everyone begins to stir. You can all take your long rests. Casters, prepare your spells.
I
And
would
with
have
that,
popped out of tiger form, so I'm just asleep on the ground.
just an inky Cass.
Lonnie's probably like trying to pick grub out of you, though she doesn't actually eat.
Peck.
Yeah.
Guess like
So, nobody's the day is yours. It's early morning. It's chilly. It's probably low 60s. You all watch as the sun rises. There's plenty of shade as this happens. The shadows are long on the ground.
Ah, oh, overslept. Did we die?
Nope, we're alive. I'm feeling. Oh man, what a day!
What just happened?
Quickly.
You went dark. Oh.
No, you're good. Thank you. Had a guest in the room.
Oh,
I didn't want to cut the camera off because then it would have fucked up all the shit.
Fair.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay,
The cat needed to come in.
I got you. All right. So,
You awake, Q?
Ah, yeah. Slept like the dead.
What'd you dream of last night?
Nothing. Nothing. No nightmares. No meat dreams. You ever get meat dreams?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Sometimes it's bacon.
I've had that one.
A lot of fish. Occasionally. Never mind.
you hear from a bag far away.
It's almost enough to make you to turn you off fish.
I was just curious. Sometimes the way your brain works is the most fascinating part of my day. So,
I think that's is that a compliment? What do you dream about?
Mine are usually, well, up until we spent some time in Mardosta, they were mostly, just your run-of-the-mill running and hiding from people that are constantly chasing you, getting the shit kicked out of you, bleeding to death in an alleyway, just the normal day-to-day.
I've had those.
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
But every now and then, I dream about stick meat.
Oh?
Yeah, and every now and then, whenever we're in Mardosta, I don't think I have any dreams.
You would think that, like, in this place, I would dream about squiddy octopuses and stuff, which I don't know if you know this, but I'm afraid of octopuses and all the general pusses. It's really just things with 8 legs are just, like, my least favorite.
So owls don't have 8 legs.
Owls scare me because, well, Kes spooked me that one time, and I think I have a little bit of post-traumatic Kes disorder.
Oh, fuck, that's good. No, I think we all have a little bit of that.
Well, okay, you know, I'm big. I'm a big kobold.
What?
Well, I'm not big for kobolds, but like I'm an adult kobold. Like I'm large.
Okay.
This is a fully grown kobold, is what I'm trying to say.
Whatever you say, pal.
You see how tall I am. So imagine when I was a child, how scary an owl would be. That's some pick you up and take you and eat you shit.
Would you have fit in the palm of my hand as a child?
No, it's not that small, but owls are big fuckers. You'd be surprised. I don't weigh. I barely weigh, damn 30 pounds right now. I was like half this size. I weighed like. Fun fact, weight goes up by like more than double. So, you know, Q doesn't know that. But the point is, when I was half this size, I was a quarter of the weight. So
you're
scary.
You're afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
You're afraid of
One killed my mother.
Right. That's makes sense.
Yeah.
You're afraid of the octopuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're afraid of owls.
Because one tried to kill all of us.
When?
I mean, it was something. It's a kraken, but it was all squiddy, squirrely, seaweed stuff.
Okay, you have no problem with cockroaches.
Delicious.
What about lobsters?
Also, best friends. Lobster. Lobster's like the cockroach of the sea.
Right.
Chicken of the sea. Cockroach of the sea.
No, that's tuna.
Oh.
Okay, so what else scares you? Just
Tuna of the land.
I thought everything scared you. It just turned out we kept coming across
Land tuna. What?
Yeah, land tuna.
What else scares me? Giant shadow monsters. Commitment.
You don't seem scared of commitment to me.
Do I not?
No, in fact, it seems to me like you were looking for somewhere to commit to.
Oh. I don't know. The idea terrifies me. I'm 9. Like.
How long do kobolds live?
Somewhere between like 7 and 135.
That's not helpful.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know a lot about kobolds because I'm 9, and I only had my mother for a lot of my life. But the little bit I do know is that, like, they have a lot of babies. Like, you know, I wasn't an only child. You know, I had multiple brothers and sisters before we were divided as a family. but then it became just me and my mother. And she would tell me stories and stuff. Most people die. Most kobolds die. Like, we just get eaten by owls or spiders or bears or oh my. And, but if you make it past like 12, like a good ripe old age of 12, then you usually are like pretty well weathered and worn and know how to live, and then you live forever for a kobold, like 130, 150 years.
So you're kind of like the sea turtles, the baby sea turtles headed towards the sea. Is once you get to the certain age, once you get to the sea,
right,
you'll live for fucking ever. But
yeah,
those first few years are really dangerous.
Right, because in my experience, those are the most delicious sea turtles, is the ones that haven't made it to the sea yet.
Right, like the veal of the sea.
Like,
The baby sea turtles, the veal of the sea.
yeah, cows are really the sea turtles of the land.
Right.
So, or sheep. Oh, shit, what's veal? No, it's cow. I had it right. Baby.
Yeah.
Right? It's fine.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's a terribly sad and unfortunate existence, and I'm sorry that that's your burden to bear. You want to go find the others?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Like, I'm almost there.
You'll get there if I can help. We'll get you to the sea, buddy.
Do you know what an old kobold is called?
An old?
A kobold, yes. No, that's not what they're called. They're called a great worm. If you make it past like 50, you're a great worm.
Okay.
Fun kobold facts.
I
You wanna
don't.
go find the others?
Yeah.
Or time.
No, I just had to put my shoes back on and scrub this fucking Watchman logo off the back of my back. So let's go see if they're up.
And the comedian would get along. Or hate each other.
Yeah, one of the two.
Okay.
Cass is just
Cass.
sitting by the live well, combing stuff out of her hair.
Yes, you look dirty.
She's cleaned her off as much as she can without using changeling magic.
Q, you literally have like flies buzzing around your head, like
Yes,
you're like
disgusting, bro.
like
You
big
can't,
Charlie Brown with a
you can't just say that to Cass.
We're close.
What?
Pongu's busy roasting breakfast. It's like veal over a fire, and has like everyone's daily scones and treats like packed up nearby. So what are we doing today?
We're going south.
To Shallowgrave,
Shallow grave.
not the peninsula. Or the peninsula.
The peninsula.
We have we have 2 more places to check before Evercrest. We have was there something in Navira we were doing at
Yeah.
some
Did
point?
that.
Navira. After, yeah, okay. So what I'm thinking is peninsula, and then Shallowgrave, and then Navira, and then back to Shallowgrave to go to the center of the sea.
Sea Center? Oh, Evercrest.
No,
Oh.
to the literal center of, like, to that spot.
Right,
Okay, but
because
we don't
Where
have
the
to
embers
take a
are.
boat.
yeah,
Why not?
Okay.
I don't know if I could
Probably.
fly us over the sea for that long. Wait, I
Can you
don't. Where
swim us?
would we stop and rest?
Get a boat.
Boat's terrifying.
I could. We could.
Can you be a whale?
Yeah, but
Whale. Okay.
we could see if we could find. This is further down the road than we need to plan, probably, but we could always try and send word to Captain Riddick to meet us somewhere.
Well, that's fine. I like that boat. Wonder
Yeah.
if Nice Ghost is still there.
He might take us halfway at least. He said he wasn't going back to Evercrest, but we just need to go halfway anyways for now.
Old
Or
friend.
we could just
Yes.
ask him if we could borrow the boat.
He did let you. Good at letting you borrow things.
He thought I was Pierce. So Pierce could
Oh.
ask.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Anyway, to where the peninsula? Which
Yeah.
peninsula? What's the name of the peninsula?
Elgard.
Eldgard, yeah.
Eldgard. I don't
That's,
know. I
French
can't
for
get
old
us
guard.
to it, but I can get us far south, and then we'll have to fly the rest of the way.
Okay.
Okay.
And I go get my notebook that I had let that page dry and
Okay. All right.
like get all my stuff and check out the life well and
Still there. Still.
Oh, yeah.
You still feel this like deep connection to it.
Yes. Do you do this often? This is one of those like quirky cast things. Like creating these lecti. Life wells.
What's a lecti?
what?
It's the same. It's what we call them in the Feywild.
Lecti?
Yeah.
Lecti. Huh. No, this is the first one.
Lectis is the plural form, but yeah,
Lecti?
lecti. I don't know. According to my notes from before, I believe lecti is singular and lectus is plural, but it could be. It's been a long time since I've seen one. That's the general gist of it. But so, this is the first time you've created one
Yes.
since the disappearance of most of the life wells on this plane.
Yes.
She did it
Oh,
on
you-
an accident, for what it's worth.
Yeah, Pongu's like looking at Kess like in this kind of quizzical, very befuddled, like interesting.
Ta-da.
And your family, you're not part god or celestial of any sort, are you?
Wait, is that possible?
No.
What, to be part god?
For
Yeah.
Kess to be part god?
No.
I don't know.
You
God's like the
my-
fuck, Pierce.
Oh my gosh. If I was part
God's like
God,
the
we'd
fuck
all be
Pierce?
screwed.
Well, yeah, everybody.
Kess, you'd tell us if you were part god.
Yeah. I tell
Sometimes you
everybody.
don't know,
That would be really cool.
but sometimes you don't know.
I asked
Sometimes
my
it's-
parents where I came from, and they said that sometimes that, changeling genes just have lots of things in them. It's
Wait a minute, are your parents changelings?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
No.
only ever look like elves to us, right?
no, they look like changelings only whenever they're on the third floor of the house.
Okay. So they do drop their form for us.
Yes, whenever they're third floor,
okay.
no staffs around. Yeah, they drop their form.
Yeah, I mean,
Parent, could they be God? Or
No,
gods?
no. I do have a Titan friend.
And Titans are left by God
Yes,
massacres, bloods.
but he never taught
Created in
me
the
how to
calamity of gods.
create a life well.
Could
I just
he-
thought it could go in.
Could
I just
he be your daddy?
That would
Are there-
certainly.
I would certainly possibly. What kind of daddy? Because
Episode title.
there's like
Wait, hold on. Please tell me, the 9-year-old, how many kinds of daddies there are.
there are 2, I think. Pongu, help.
It's like a subjective term, right? Q, like if you have a very caring and compassionate caretaker, you can turn to them as like a father figure, in whatever way is helpful and stuff.
What are the kinds that like you've never met?
We can forget that I said that and just move on
Okay.
because, yeah.
Should we do something about this? I feel like this is I was talking to Alani and she said that people are gonna find out that the life well is here.
Is that bad?
It's new.
What can someone do with a life well?
Well, there were the keepers. And then, the wave came and took all the water out of the life wells. And then there was that Naga that was trying to take the life well water away from that other Naga, the guardian Naga. And
also, often in the Feywild, life wells are used for various things.
like
Oh, yeah.
getting from there to here.
Yeah, transportation. There are also, back in one of my previous lives, some religious sects in the Feywild, some of their clerics would ingest it.
You said religious sex?
Yeah.
Is that like missionary?
It's like...
I'm good. Yeah.
Sorry.
Pongu takes a moment and just stares at the sun. Maybe if I look at this, my eyes will burn.
Seriously, it would fade to black and go 3 weeks later, and then, and then pick up at this conversation.
So yeah, different religious orders, obviously have different beliefs, and some of them would sometimes think that this could give you different types of power. Not unlike our friend here, gestures at Kess.
Well, I'm just saying that I have drank it. That didn't give me a squat.
That's not true.
What? No, when I fell into the void, then all of a sudden could control it. But drinking
You
it.
got knocked down and you got back up again.
Well, yeah, it knocked me out, and I could see Ash and talk to him in a different possible
granted you
place.
communication with a Titan, do you think that it's possible that your ingestion of this magic goo shit also made it so that you could survive the void when you fell into it? Do you think that's at all fucking possible?
But I didn't survive the void when I fell into it.
I mean, Kess, you're probably the first person I've met that has not full-on unalived themselves after drinking.
It was very close.
Electric.
There was a cleric there, and that's the only reason I kind of got back up that time.
Pongu, honestly, since you've been here, Kess has been very good about not getting herself killed.
Very much appreciate that.
I just kind of okay, but hold on. So there are religious beliefs in the Feywild that drinking this will grant them will do something religious, right?
Sometimes it's just communication, sometimes it's access to power.
Okay.
But my understanding, they get to connect with their different higher forms of power.
And that's exactly what happened to me when I drank it.
With Ash.
Yeah.
Pongu, let me ask you something. In your experience, would it take a god, part god, or descendant of a god to be able to do
that specific thing that we're talking about right now.
Pongu ponders, and what would I need to roll to figure or know that?
Are you thinking that I should drink it, Pierce?
No, God, no.
Oh, okay.
Yes, no.
Oh,
I'm
God,
a little
we're back.
thirsty. Can I borrow water, please?
Pierce's question, just so I'm clear, Pierce's question. Oh God, Pierce's question is: Can you say that again, Pierce? Because we're kind of all over the place.
Sure. In Pongu's experience, would he know that you would have to be part god to be able to survive drinking the life well water / do what Kess did when she drank the life well water?
Make a religion check, Pongu.
I have Lonnie on me.
Are you still trying to think that I'm Bart Celestial?
Or at least have some
Look.
god blood.
No.
Trust me. It would,
15.
15. Okay. You would know there are people who are not. It's a means of worship. Not necessarily being a god unto oneself. It is the way that people would worship and try to commune with their various deities is by consuming this in a sacrament.
I convey that to the group.
Oh.
Okay, that's fine. Listen, Kess,
Yeah, I could do it again.
you... no. Look,
Look.
you can also talk to him without doing it.
Sometimes he doesn't show up and we just end up playing tic-tac-toe. And he turned like he's animals and I can't talk to him that way.
You can talk to animals.
He's
You do it all the
different.
time.
I
I
can't.
watched you
I've
talk
tried.
to a shrub, for God's sake.
I have tried to talk to him whenever he's been an animal and it doesn't work.
Is it because he doesn't want to respond?
No. He was really frustrated.
If you can talk to animals and shrubs and he's not talking to you, it sounds like it's a him thing. Not to
Look,
burst any bubbles or anything.
If I drink the life well water, if we have health potions.
Okay, I just wanted to know if we were rolling with part god because I want to be able to estimate what our chances are against something like a lich dragon in case we do something stupid like go try to get a cockroach out from his cave.
I'm
And
not
if we
part
have
god.
somebody, okay, well that's why
I need you to not attack Kess while attacking me. Just like pick one to attack at a time.
this is my special power. Okay, once a day I can do a dual verbal attack on my party members. So
Pongu, you know a lot about drinking things and going to higher powers. Are all dark liquids, do they cause you to transcend reality? Because I tried coffee, and does the Feywild say anything about coffee?
It's absolutely banned in the Feywild, actually. There was probably about 3,000 years ago. We had it. It was brought into court, and basically, the Twinkle, the clutch, the amount of fairies that were created later that season was the largest amount. It was like a boom, a Fey boom. Yeah, there was a lot.
Twinkle
Yeah.
was the person's name?
Twinkle is what a group of baby fairies are called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aw.
Got you. Twinkle, twinkle, little Starbucks. Got it.
Yes.
Coffee. I made it coffee.
But anyways, yeah, coffee in the Feywild, it is very different. Makes you really horny and really hyper.
yeah, like literally everything apparently does that. So
Yeah, but how's it different?
It makes you particularly virile.
Right, but how's
Okay.
it? Never mind.
Well, also not everyone's allowed to just fuck without license, you know? It's a long story.
What?
What?
You don't. Huh?
Not everyone's allowed to have babies in the Feywild.
Oh, baby.
there's a difference. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to go there.
Oh,
Maybe someday, especially if more of these pop up.
So
What? Is this going to bring us to the Feywild? If I jump in right now, what happens?
I don't know.
I'm not going to because I don't try to kill myself.
Well, we've touched void water before, but we've never. I don't think have we
Just
touched
life well.
water before.
Have I been in Life Well Water as a well keeper?
Nope.
I forgot. That's all different waters. No, cast no. Whole person. I
What
cast
if
No,
I just said
no.
toast?
Hold on.
Just
Hold
like,
on.
what?
Clearly, the least important person of the group is me.
No, don't say
So-
that. Is
I'm going with everybody's approval. Stick my finger in it.
I don't agree with your argument. Wait. Oh no, I missed one.
No, it's just Steve-O's face. He's cracking,
When he
and it's
realized
so
what he
funny.
had said.
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever said.
the care with which you said, with the way each of those syllables left your mouth. If, with everyone's approval, waving your finger in front of the camera, with everyone's approval, I'm going to put my finger in it.
Finger.
Okay.
what?
Objections?
Well, wait, why do you get to?
Yeah.
It's not really a get.
Well, I can do
what if
it.
She's the god
Yeah.
person. Or drinker.
Here's the thing.
Pierce points at Q.
This kid right here, he can cast magic and he can summon all sorts of armors and curses and big fiery maces and all sorts of really cool, super awesome shit. This guy over here,
Pierce points at Pongu.
he can conjure shit. He can bake like nobody's fucking business. He can heal people. He can also create really big gravitational wells that pulls corpses into the middle.
Yeah, it's scary.
That was awesome.
Just one time.
And you, Kess, you can turn into whatever you want, and you can change all the water and use it to your advantage, and you all are all basically like fantasy X-Men and X-People.
I don't know
And-
what that is.
What I can do, the way that I can benefit this team, is by landing my shots.
And he pulls out Iris because
This is it. This is what I got.
And the
So-
other one.
I'm gonna stick my finger in that water. Because if something happens to me, I have 3 capable people that can help. And if I die, then you all 3 get to be super fucking sad. Because if something happens to one of you 3, I'm not living with that sadness. Sound good?
Give me the
I
diamond.
just- Yeah, hand her the diamond.
Okay. That's fair.
Pierce
But-
pulls out the diamond from his pocket and hands it to Kess.
Before
I do
you
want.
it-
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
I just want to say, I do recommend, for what it's worth, not using that on me. Because y'all are going to need it.
Before you do that, if we're that special, how special must you be to move us the way you're moving us now?
What do you mean?
Goddamn. I won't hear you talk about you that way because we're not here if you don't exist and if you don't get us here. And that means a lot. And you're only worth, well, people have a lot of ways of getting worth, but the way that's worth the most is how much good you do for other people. And I think you've done leaps and bounds worth of good more for us even than we've done for you, because if you still feel that way about yourself, we must not have done as much good for you as you've done for us. So you're actually worth more than us, fucker. Probably could have left the fucker off on that one.
No, in my experience, that tends to drive it home pretty well.
Yeah, fucker. I don't know if the logic followed, but I think you stick your finger in the hole, and we'll be right behind you.
Okay.
If you disappear,
Okay.
I'm going in.
What? Can we
I'm
just?
coming with her.
Okay. Can we just take a quick pause? real quick. Pongu is going to attempt to see if the water operates like normal water, and he's going to attempt to like shape water and like lift some of the life well water out, like just as a sphere above the well.
Okay.
Does it do anything?
Yeah, you lift it, you're able to control it like water.
Okay, so I can't control void water
That's fair.
or life water, but this.
You can on like shape water.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
you can't control it quite in the way Cass can,
sure.
but you know.
Okay, because I thought before I tried to shape it, and you're like, it doesn't work. So, what? It
If I did,
seems-
that's my fuck up. I'm sorry.
I mean, it looks like it operates like normal water, but does void water normally looks scary, right?
It's like this, and I pull out a vial of it.
So if Pierce if this is truly what you want to do, we trust you.
I'm not gonna drink it. I'm not gonna stick my face in it. I'm not gonna jump in feet first. I'm just gonna touch it. And my expectation is that if it burns like void water does, it's gonna fucking hurt. Or, I'll have a brand new fingerprint to leave at crime scenes. That's cool. And worst case scenario, y'all can help. I can't. My worst case scenario is that it knocks me out, and you have to bring me back. So this way we know if we need to, not touch this thing. If we need to not get any splashed on us. I mean, Kess walks around with the shit in her bag all the time. If one of these vials breaks, I don't.
I mean, I've touched it like 1,000 times.
Yeah, but you touch a lot of things.
Okay, you do what you want, and I will back you up however you need.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
And just with the very tip of his finger, Pierce taps the top of the water like he's trying to make it ripple.
And that's where we're gonna take a break.
So, you extend your arm, and you feel both cool and heat radiating off of the life well. Your finger hovers over the surface. You see it reflecting, and it's almost like your hand is a more perfect, a less scarred, a steadier version of your own hand in the surface of the water. And with hesitation, you hold your finger out and you tap the surface of the water, and you hold your finger in the surface, and a ripple spreads out across the surface of this basically just a mud puddle. And that is where we're going to take our break.
you
Ah,
called it.
I hate being right.
Hey, sassholes.
Oh God.
I'm not alone this time. It's me, and it's Brenna. It's Goon. It's Brenna. Goon. Brenna. And we just got done shopping. But before we shopped, in person, we ordered these awesome Session Zero merch. This sweater is the most comfortable thing I own currently. And of course, I got it from your boy, Session Zero. And then Brenna here decided to break my heart because in our last campaign that we played together, shut up, her character married my character, but before she did that, she basically pledged her life to Baphomet. So of course, when Session Zero dropped,
I did not.
you did. But look at, show it the shirt.
Okay, it's
It's
a
Baphomet.
no.
That's a thing a Thrall would wear.
No,
I'm just saying.
Morgan did not. Baphomet was already dead.
Lies
She just
and
took his
gaslighting.
sword.
Lies and gaslighting.
I
But look, all right, show off the hat though.
okay. So it says Session Zero right here, but then you just wait,
Oh,
and it's a D20.
it's a what do they call those? Daddy hats.
Dead.
Anyway, if you want to get some of your own Session Zero merchandise, like I or our resident historian Brenna, which, by the way, face reveal, I think.
Hi.
I mean, like, unless you follow her on Twitter, where she posts her face
A lot.
more often than once, which you've seen it on this. If you want to get some of your own merch, go to sessionzero.com, enter the discount code SASDND, SASDND, to get your sweater, t-shirt, daddy hat, whatever you want.
And we're back. Pierce, your hand hovered out across the surface of the Lifewell water, and you saw the reflection of your hand in it. A more perfect, unscarred, untrembling version of your own hand. You touched the surface of the water, and time dilated for you. Time completely spreads for you. You immediately smell cinnamon rolls. You hear your mother's voice. You are in a million different places at once. Your consciousness is basically everywhere you've ever been as you're sitting here with mere seconds elapsing. Your hand, your finger, it's just the tip of your finger, basically down to the knuckle. It feels like it's expanded. It feels like it's stretching out once you put it through the surface of the water. It feels both cold and warm and pleasant against your calloused hand. And you experience all of these things at once, in tandem, before Whoosh. You snap back, and you're sitting there with your friends, with your hand still in the surface of the water.
How long were we there?
5-6 seconds.
Okay.
Combat round.
Okay.
Hey, yeah.
I've got his shoulders.
What
Yeah?
year is it?
The year of Our Lady. I don't know.
It's
It's like 9 after I was born, so.
How long have we been here?
9 after Q.
6 seconds? Like,
6. Yeah.
Okay.
are you okay?
Here or there.
Well, we've been here like about 20 hours ish. Like here.
Oh, yeah, here.
But like, since you put your finger in the 6 seconds.
Pierce has like, you can see like a tear running down his cheek.
Okay, didn't
He looks at his finger.
I don't think it didn't hurt. Physically, but the best way I can describe this sensation is like,
And DM, please feel free to correct me if I, don't quite get the essence of what was going on, right?
it kind of felt like every memory I've ever had happened at the same time.
That's overwhelming.
It's incredibly overwhelming, and I just barely touched the shit.
Yeah, do you need to sit down? Are you okay? You need to sit?
Yeah, actually, can you guys give me a minute?
As I'm walking away, can I do like a perception check to see if anything's changed in Pierce? Or
Do you mean insight,
like magic
on
magic wise or something?
magic wise?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make you roll for that. Nothing apart from his demeanor, which is visibly shaken. Nothing seems to have changed either about Pierce or about the well itself.
Okay.
But Pongu, you would know that what has happened to him is pretty common. For someone who has never really traveled in that way, who's never really been around life essence like that before.
Okay. Do I know if there's any side effects for them?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Kess, that would actually be familiar for you as well.
Okay.
You would have experienced something similar to this the first time that you were around, or because like you have touched life well water before.
You
You've
told
just
me I
not-
didn't.
You've touched it. You've not been inside it.
Okay.
There's a difference between like dipping your toes in it, dipping your finger in it, and actually
Yeah,
stepping into it.
but if I had have known that I had have done it, then we wouldn't have had to do this, because this was the whole thing. But I thought
Well-
you said that I didn't, so okay.
I thought my mistake. I thought you asked if you had ever like stood inside of it.
Pongu, can I have some chocolate?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is some chocolate, and I actually made it myself, and I added a bit of cinnamon for Pierce because he mentioned it that one time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a couple minutes, but I think he should eat it.
Yeah.
Pierce takes a few steps like away. So he sort of walks around the well, and he sits down and he puts his back to everybody, but he sort of sits on the ground, and he crosses his hands over his knees, and he puts his head in his arms, and with his back to everybody just starts crying.
Yes. about this one? If he had died or something, we had preparations for that.
Yeah. I can. You know what, Q? Why don't you take him this chocolate?
Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
And Q just kind of walks up to Pierce and he pulls just like a little piece of cloth out of his bag and sets the chocolate on it and just kind of like sets it down on the ground next to Pierce and just sort of pats him on the back and says, "When you're ready," and then walks off.
Yeah, Pierce doesn't respond at all. He'll he'll wait till Q leaves before he moves. But after Q's gone, he'll take the chocolate and he'll eat it.
We had this talk one time, Cass, about like needing alone time versus needing friends, and I didn't really understand it, but like sometimes he wants one and I don't know the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing the right thing, but
Well,
chocolate's good.
Yeah. He asked to be alone, so.
Right. But then sometimes, you know, you like tall people, you're like, I want to be alone, but you really want to be like cuddled. And then sometimes you're like, yeah, you can cuddle me, but you really want to be alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna just give him some time. And then once it seems like, because I'm guessing I can tell that he's crying with my perception.
With your passive perception, unless Pierce, you're taking active measures to try to hide it.
Not. I mean, he didn't want to be outward with it, but he's not trying with it. He's not trying with everything he has to keep it hidden.
Sure. Then yes, Kess, you would be able to notice that he's having an emotional moment to himself.
Okay. I'm gonna give him a good. How long do people need emotional moments for?
I'm telling you, man.
It depends on the person.
When you figure that out, let me know.
Oh man.
Was that Q or Goon?
Yes.
Was
I'm
that
gonna-
was that Kess or Locke?
Yes. I'm gonna wait until he starts kind of moving around a little more, like kind of being more fidgety versus still. So, however long that takes.
You want to play a game of eel?
Not in the open.
Oh yeah.
It's a secret game.
No, it's like but we all play it. They don't have eel in the Feywild.
I mean,
Q has forgotten that Pierce is having an emotional moment now. He's moved on to that.
I mean, there's different types of eels, yeah, but
It's this terrifying card game that people like to play to scare the shit out of little kobolds. And, yeah, we played it all the time, a lot sometimes, a long time ago. We don't-
is it like hide and seek?
No, it's like a card game.
Oh, card game. Gotcha. Kess,
Yeah.
what Pierce experienced is it's hard, but it is something that, happens.
Mm-hmm. Does he look like he's ready for company?
He looks over and gauging from what he's learned from Pierce the past few weeks, he's going, you would know better than I.
Oh, I don't want to get yelled at.
But think of it this way: if he yells at you, that means he still cares, instead
Well,
of just
that's
being
true.
quiet.
That's true.
Right about this time, Pierce gets up and he walks to one of there's trees around, right? That's the ink.
Yeah, you're in the forest.
Yeah.
Like,
and he pulls one of his daggers out of his stuff, and he walks up to one of the trees, and he starts like a tap, like sort of stabbing the tree, and then it gets a little bit harder, and he starts hitting it as hard as he can.
I want to stop him.
Do you resist?
Whenever I see him doing this, I want to go over to him and grab the hand that's stabbing.
Pierce, first of all, I want you to make 3 attack rolls.
Okay.
The tree. Not the tree.
Okay. There's a
With your dagger.
with the dagger. The first one is 15.
Hits.
The next one is 16,
Hits.
and then his hardest one is another 15.
Okay. So those all hit. I'm not going to make you roll damage or anything.
Yeah.
But like as you like stab, once ink starts trickling down like between the gaps in the bark, and then you pull the blade out and then stab it again, and then it spurts out in all different directions, and then it continues to trickle down. This time it's like on your wrist and trickling down your arm, and then you stab once more, and it like almost like releases pressure, and it starts like releasing ink, and it like sort of splashes up on your face and on your clothes. And then at that time Cass grabs you. Do you resist?
No,
Okay.
he doesn't. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to accidentally hurt her, so he's gonna. If she's in the vicinity, he's gonna stop.
Okay. And he's got ink all over him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have his hand, and I'm just gonna take my other hand and kind of like wipe the ink off of his face, and then hug him as hard as I can.
He's not fighting it. He's not hugging back. You can feel like his arms are like super tense.
I'm literally hugging him until he hugs me back. Very stubborn.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Pierce like does the pat.
Nope. And I keep hugging.
Cass, it's fine.
Nope.
Do the hug back.
And I just kind of pet him for a moment. Just to calm, or I don't know.
Several moments pass. The two of you just, and then Pongu and Q just watching. As you experience feeling, the breadth and the depth of feeling, the rawness that is life, the rawness that is being alive and feeling happy and sad and miserable and euphoric.
When I feel like he's kind of steadied, I'll let go.
I'm ready. Thank you for the moment.
You're welcome.
He calls out to the other two.
You guys ready to move on?
Do you still want alone time?
Nope.
Okay. I'm not really good at social cues, so like clearly state your intent.
I'm ready to go treasure hunting if you're ready.
Let's go.
Oh shoot!
What?
I keep forgetting to attune to the thing that my mom got me, and now I gotta fly again. No, I don't have to fly again. No, we're going to. We have to go through a tree and then I have to flag in. Okay. Tree. I find a tree.
There are plenty of them. There's no shortage of trees. Take your pick. Tall trees, short trees.
The tree that Pierce was hitting.
Sure.
Okay.
You walk up to it, place your hand on it, and a glowing doorway sort of opens, familiar at this point, inviting you to all step through.
Treasure hunting?
Treasure hunting. Q walks through.
Let's do it.
And you all step through? Question mark?
I wave at the
Yes.
life well water. At the life well.
It, recognizing you specifically, you see like there's a little gust of wind and then a little finger of water.
Mama.
Almost as if it waves back. So you all step through, and instantly the squish of the forest floor and the ink that you've become used to over the past 24, 25 hours is replaced by the squish of swamp. You step forward into this like thick, muddy, swampy area. Just as thick with trees, but very, very different types of trees. There's thick southern moss hanging on the trees. There are these trees with really slender trunks and deep, wide canopies. Almost like the canopy of a magnolia tree with a tiny little stick of a trunk. Basically, it looks very disproportionate. But that is most of the trees that are around here. You hear birds and crickets and frogs, chirping and singing, and you have found yourself. It's probably here. Probably it's the same time zone, so it's the same time of day. It's like late morning at this point, and you find yourself in the middle of a swamp. At a more southern point that you have been on this continent since you arrived several months ago.
And this is as far as I've been south.
You gonna say that every step you take?
And this is as far as I've been south as I take another step.
This place sucks. It's like Louisiana sucks.
Why is that?
Swampy.
There's a thick smell of like mud, like just it smells like mud and fish and shit and just it smells like a swamp.
Pierce is looking around the swamp for unfriendly creatures.
Make a perception check for me.
Most swamp creatures.
I am trying to exude happy energy, good energy.
Okay.
It's a natural 20.
Natural 20. With a natural 20, you see the fucking second you step through that tree and you step through this weird bizarro magnolia tree, you step through and you're like, is that a fucking frog? And off in the distance, there is a gigantic frog, like 6.5 feet tall, enormous. And it is not alone. There are 4 or 5 of them, and they're all different colors. This particular one is green and blue with a white stripe down its center, down its chest, and it's just hopping through the swamp.
From can I tell if they are hostile or if they're just
With a natural 20, you see them just like getting like they would with flies, except they're snatching birds out of the sky. Like their tongues are 15, 20 feet long. Like their tongues are impossibly long.
Are these like the frogs that Cass turned into?
I was gonna say.
The blit frog?
Like,
Blit.
Yeah, actually.
Okay. That's how I learned how to turn into the blit.
You've seen these before.
Yeah.
She's been things before.
Well, I can only turn into things that I've seen, and this is where I saw them.
Where did you see a saber-toothed tiger?
Up north.
Oh, okay.
Do these scare you, Q?
You know, they didn't, but now that you mention it, they probably should. So I'm yeah.
I'm sure they're friendly. Should we introduce ourselves?
I can fit in their mouth.
They're just frogs, and I think they're just having their nice little frog time.
Hey,
Blech.
quick guess. Will you list me the things that frogs eat?
Flies and birds and bugs.
And
That's it.
Let's.
I think you forgot lizards. Smaller lizards than they are.
Listen,
But sometimes lizards eat frogs too.
Bigger lizards. I would eat a frog. See, that's the thing. I would grab a frog and I would eat it if it was grabbable. But because I'm grabbable, it's the big frog.
That frog. Okay, I get it. We won't get close to them. Let's.
I
We
just don't
should.
know why you guys aren't more afraid of things.
well, because like I said, you're powerful as shit.
Yeah.
So even if it came at you, you could do some cursey mallet fire shit and,
You know, isn't that weird? Because if, like, you pulled your gun on me and started shooting, I would, like, shoot back with some magic. Or if Scott showed up, I would shoot some magic. But, like, I feel like if this frog tried to eat me, I would just revert immediately back to pre-magic Q and just die. Like, I wouldn't even, like, my brain would have gone to, excuse my pun, lizard brain mode and just died. Like, this is my life now. I am frog intestines.
so what you're saying is that if you stop to think about it, you don't have to be afraid of anything. Because if you are only afraid of the things that can take you down, and nothing has taken you down, then nothing you've encountered you should be afraid of.
I'm gonna need a minute.
Whatever gets us through the swamp. Kiss?
Yeah.
Can we fly from here, or do we
Oh
need
yeah, I
to-
can do that. Okay. Can I just have like a little bit of time to attune to something?
Yeah. I'm gonna look around for.
You wanna go catfish gigging? Frog gigging?
Smaller
Noodling?
ones, yeah. If they have smaller ones, yeah.
Y'all gonna kill frogs?
No, we're gonna gig them.
Yeah, we're gonna let
Gonna give
them.
them high-speed broadband internet.
We're gonna let them play at our bar for a night
Oh,
for
Okay.
tips.
That's 2 puns.
okay.
Anybody got a third one?
Yeah.
Are you just gonna go up to him and go, "What's up?" Is that what you were planning?
I do want you all to know I googled whether or not frogs eat lizards just so we were scientifically accurate here on our D&D show, and the one of the top Google search results was who eats a lizard.
Is it frogs?
Just exactly like that. Who eats a lizard? And it made me smile.
Is it frogs?
Sometimes.
A bigger frog will eat a smaller lizard.
I'm gonna
Animals
find
don't
a swamp stump and I'm gonna sit on it and try to attune.
Pongu, will you
Okay.
make sure that nothing sneaks up on her while she's
Yeah.
tuning?
Before we all separate, Pongu's gonna ritually cast telepathic bond. So now you all can go wherever you need to, and we'll still be connected. And
I think.
Any- as long as you. What?
I was just saying, like, yeah, I think we just need to go kill smaller frogs so that I can remind myself who's boss.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Just don't go into other planes of existence.
Oh.
Or it won't work.
Was that an option?
I don't know. You go stomping about other life worlds.
Oh. We weren't until yesterday.
Be safe.
Q immediately like just jumps into the nearest puddle and begins gigging. Which
Pierce
you
is
would
just
think
gonna
I would
watch
know
him.
how to do, but I don't. I was afraid of dirt as a small child, so I don't remember how. I don't know how to gig. No one taught me.
Is that whenever
it's-
you? Sorry.
It's
Go
catching
ahead.
frogs, isn't it?
Are we being too southern right now?
Is
I
that
feel like
not
we're being too
whenever
southern.
you do the vibration thing?
Yeah,
That's
like
noodling. I thought that was noodling. With the
that's frog gigging when you like
Frog
or,
gigging too, I thought.
or fiddling for worms. That's when you like saw a lot.
Fiddling.
Yeah,
Fiddling,
fiddling. For
So,
worms.
like, you know, in Castaway, when he fashions that spear and he's trying to stab fish,
Yeah.
that's
Gigging.
gigging. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You're thinking of Matthew Broderick from Godzilla, where he puts the vibrations and all the earthworms come up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What a great movie.
What a fantastic!
American classic.
Anyway,
I saw that movie
Well, Q
5
does
times
that,
in
too.
theaters.
Q casts. Oh God, does he have an electric thing? Because earthworms would be great. I bet Q eats earthworms. He doesn't have any. Oh yeah, he just guiding bolts the ground until.
like sheep to the slaughter, earthworms just like start springing forth from the ground.
Q just looks up and smiles at Pierce, but with like 14 earthworms.
Oh,
hanging
God.
out of his mouth.
Oh.
Looking good, buddy.
I'm just attuning. Trying to get it to fit my head. Like a.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So yeah, unless like you guys are just frog gigging and looking for worms and everything, and over the course of several minutes, Kess is able to attune to this item.
Okay.
Easily enough.
What can you do now?
I can. Well, it's pretty, first of all. And I have kind of fashioned it sort of like a crown.
Of course.
Kind of.
And just to remind everybody what it looks like, it's like her black and white flowers in the form of a like a dried flower crown, basically, with gold
Ah.
dust on it.
Okay. And okay, so now I can guide people and polymorph people at the same time.
Oh. That's intense.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna turn into an owl now, and we can go get them. And I
Good.
poof, owl.
When there is this giant owl and a large, like a giant frog, kind of side eyes you.
Uh
And,
oh.
like,
Oh, you froze in the perfect
No.
spot.
No.
The most perfect
Someone scream grab it.
place.
You're back.
You froze in the most
back, yeah.
perfect spot.
Me?
We don't, yeah, we
Yeah,
don't know what
yeah.
you said, but you were like a giant frog side eyes you.
And then
Just
yeah.
froze.
Perfect. I was just gonna say the giant frog got scared. Like eyes got
Oh,
real
okay.
wide and like hopped away from you.
Pierce taps Q. See, they're afraid of us.
Okay, so we are flying southward now.
Yeah.
Can I get someone to make a survival check with probably with advantage because of Pongu's monocle?
26.
26. All right. It is a very, very, very short flight. It is from that point to the point on the map where Scott's treasure is buried. It's probably about a 2-hour flight. You're there by early afternoon, and as you're flying over, it is all swamp. Off in the distance, you can see the sea. You can see the ocean. You're up high enough to see, but especially after about an hour, like you can see out over the ocean. You can see the horizon. You can even see at this point, off to your, if you're flying south, off to your right, you can see the eerie, like it's almost like a permanent storm over Evercrest, and like there is a, like the clouds are stretching. The clouds are stretching toward the mainland. You can see the green veins of smoke and fog.
We can see that
But
far.
yeah, it's Lurge. You can't see Evercrest, but you can see the storm way off in the distance. But as you travel, you see these unfamiliar to you. Kess, you heard about them, but you had never seen them. As you get nearly to your destination at the southernmost point of the continent, you see these mounds in the ground that are in the, like, within the swamp itself. And every once in a while you'll hear a rumble, and it'll shoot water, dispelling swamp water, and then underneath it will be this, like, this bright orange flame under and like you realize there are these weird sort of miniature volcano geysers in the middle of these swamps, and they'll like dispel water and shoot up fire over the course of several minutes. And you see several of these as you fly south.
I'm gonna
Eventually-
fly higher up.
Okay. Yeah.
Not to get hit by those.
They shoot probably 20 feet, 25 feet in the air.
Okay.
But you can if you like, we can say that as the first one went off, you were a little bit lower than comfort would allow, and you could feel the heat off of it, and you're like, oh shit, and you gain some altitude. But you easily enough, in about 2 hours, you after enjoying the view and looking at the strange sights of the southernmost points of the Elgard Peninsula, seeing herds of wild frogs hopping through the swamp together, you find yourself back in the swamp, landed. You are right near one of the geysers.
Oh,
What are you all doing?
I'm gonna hop around as an owl until they tell me that this is good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll look at where we are in regard to the map and try and make sure that we're before we disembark from Kessbird.
Yeah,
that we're in the right place.
You are confident that you are in the you are confident you're in the right spot.
Does the place, the way that you've described it makes me feel like it's kind of a dangerous place. Do I get the sense that like one wrong step and we're gonna get, set on fire or something?
Make a survival check.
What's the quicksand levels?
You've not yet found any quicksand.
Oh shit! Sorry, didn't roll. Oh, it is a 5.
A 5? I mean, you should probably stay away from the miniature volcanoes.
Okay. And they're mounds, like you can visibly see.
Yeah, you can. There's a mound with like a distinct hole in the ground.
Okay.
Like they're when they're not actively shooting water and like dispelling water and then shooting fire, they're most of the time they're smoking.
I imagine it's pretty hot, like in general.
It is. This is the hottest place that you've been. Like yeah. It's so humid. It's so
feels
thick.
great. Blizzard paradise. My blood is warm. I'm thriving.
I should have dressed for summer.
I'm just like looking at everybody like, am I good? Am I? Because I'm still a bird.
Burb.
Yeah, you can normal.
Okay, I normal.
B, you can normal.
B, you can normal. Okay. Well, what are we looking for?
I don't know. We've had talking waterfalls, exploding coffins,
Okay.
chests at the bottom of a lake. I guess something that doesn't look like it's supposed to be here.
Okay. Detect magic.
Okay. You walk around with detect
Trying to
magic.
speak with fish.
Yeah. You walk around using detect
Wait.
magic.
Wait,
What?
did I not prepare it?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
No, I got it. Sorry. I got it. I have it.
Boo too quickly.
Okay.
You walk around with your very super mega prepared detect magic. You sense no magic.
I sense no magic.
Okay.
Can Q try to check for hidden doorways, be they grave or other doorways that we found previously that didn't look like they were there until they did?
I give him guidance.
Sure. Make
Checking
make an
for-
investigation check.
Yeah, Q's really good at those. Why'd I do this?
Pongo, can your monocle help with that? Or
Yeah, I was gonna.
Huh?
After Q goes, yeah, I was gonna.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Anything?
10.
10. You think you see something that looks like a gravestone, but then you get closer and it's actually just the skull of a dead giant frog.
Q, for a moment, thinks about picking it up and putting it on his head, and then decides it's best not to risk it.
All right, Pongu, what were you going to do?
Pongu's gonna fly up and he's gonna activate the monocle and kind of do some flybys.
All right. So, activating the monocle, you see. Okay. So, yes, as you are looking, can I get you to make an investigation check with advantage?
Should I have given him guidance after I gave Q guidance?
Yeah.
Okay. Guidance.
Before
Yeah.
22.
22. Okay. Yeah. So, you see, as you're flying around, you see that there is underneath the mud. You don't necessarily there's one of these holes, one of these geysers. You can't see through the mud, but there's one of these geysers that's expelling smoke. And you see through the smoke and down into it, and you actually see a layer of stone inside this geyser. And you see a chest on the inside of this geyser, kind of on a shelf.
Oh. Pongu is going to stop midair and he's gonna like point towards that general direction, and he's going to how far away would you say it was, or is
From,
this area?
Well, when you're, I mean, it's, you guys landed right next to it.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah. It's like you had a map with an X on it that was like the exact location. So like you know the exact spot. It was just finding where it was. And with the monocle, you were able to determine that it was like within a stone shelf inside the geyser itself.
Okay. Yeah. So I land and I relay the information. Exit is right here.
Mold Earth.
Well,
To try to get in it.
Yeah, while she's doing that, can you kind of tug on Pierce's jacket real quick while she's molding the earth and just say, hey, I know, like, you feel... There's, like, 98% chance that we're about to go into a battle or whatever. And this isn't going to help you immediately, but I wanted to give you something. Because I know sometimes that you feel, like, useless, but you're not. But I think that maybe, like... I don't know how you can, like, cure that wound inside of yourself, but you should, because you're so useful to us. But the point is, I have this thing I never use, and it can do a thing that's, like, useful to people who can't do magic. And he pulls off of his back the Rod of Retribution that he's had since literally before the campaign.
That was
He
your
says,
magic item
Yeah.
that you chose.
yeah, and I wanted to use it so often, and then Q became a little badass who never used it. And I've had this, and I found it one day after my mom died, and I thought it would bring me a lot of good luck, but maybe I've been holding on to it for too long, and it could be yours, and you still need to attune to it, but so it's not really helpful right now. But when you do attune to it, if somebody hits you, you can shoot lightning at them. You've been shot by it before, actually.
No shit.
Anyway, I just thought that it could maybe make you feel a little bit closer to how awesome you actually are. Okay, looks, Cass is done, and he runs off.
That's me
Pongu.
throwing dirt over my head.
Pongu, probably still having the eye and all that stuff, is gonna like try not to be overly like part of the moment. But after he runs off, Pongu's gonna turn to Pierce, and he's gonna reach into his pocket, and his hand's gonna glow for a second, and he's gonna hand Pierce a bead, a magic spell bead that Pongu can create called an arcane abeyance. And it can contain a spell of 4th level or lower, and basically you break the bead open and you can use the spell. And Pongu is going to load the spell counterspell in it. So Pierce, if you I heard everything you said, and if there's some bad magic that you don't want to happen, you can use this. And he hands it over to him, and don't use it all in one place. It's just one use. Okay, bye. And he runs off after Q.
Counterspell's so good.
Pierce has the Rod of Retribution in one hand. What was it called? Bead of what?
It's like an arcane abeyance, but it's like a little tiny bead. It only lasts for like not long, but if you need it.
Okay, so he's got the rod in one hand, the bead in the other. And he looks frustrated, but he, pockets them or bags them or whatever.
Okay. So, Kess, as you are digging using Molder, I just imagine Kess, like you're in changeling form, right?
Yeah, but I'm basically like a little groundhog.
Like a dog, like
Yeah.
slinging dirt between your legs, basically, right? So, yeah, as you do that, there comes a point, like you dig through the mud and you yeet mud all over the place, and like it takes you a little while because the mud just kind of keeps just like filling back in, and then eventually you reach stone, and you mold earth and get past it, and then the stone disappears. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay.
This is just for the amount of heat that once you break through the stone, like an absurd wave of heat
14.
washes over. 14. Okay, you're going to take it's not much. 9 points of fire damage.
Woo!
As just like
Pops her head back up
as-
and her eyebrows are gone. No, I'm just...
yeah. Pretty much at the exact same time that you like break through the stone, whoosh, a giant column of water is dispelled from this geyser, and then a column of fire follows it. And then you hear Kess just go, ah! And it's like the heat just sort of washes over, and you just take that little bit of fire damage. Could have been a lot worse. But so yeah. And then you just come face to face with a large chest.
Oh. Was this it?
You don't know.
Is this everything in here?
No
Were you
Crazy.
expecting-
riddles, no
Monster.
exploding liches or
How long has it
Okay.
been, Zach?
Since what?
Since I've been digging.
It took you about 10 minutes to dig.
Okay, I cast detect magic again on the chest.
Okay. There is magic.
Okay. Okay.
Evocation magic.
Evocation is
Evoking.
Protection.
Yeah.
Okay. I will dispel it
Okay.
at 3rd level.
Okay. So yeah, you actually notice there's a little rune on the side.
Yeah,
Oh.
I want to say, if I feel like it's trapped, I want to dispel it. I don't want to just dispel whatever's in the chest. You know?
Yeah, you
But if
see a
it's
rune on the
evocation,
side.
yeah.
You see a rune on the side of the chest. You're not just dispelling
Yeah.
the contents of the chest.
Yeah.
If I was evil, though, boy howdy, the fun I could have. But no, you cast dispel magic, and the lock sort of shatters, and the door or the lid to the chest just sort of pops open.
I wait until everyone gathers around and then I creak it open.
Okay. Inside there is just a slew of random treasures. There's some gold, some platinum, a few magical items, a few potions, a few. You notice a few wands, a few spell scrolls.
I'm just saying, like, I just had an attunement slot open up.
Yeah.
You could. It would take you. It would take you the better part of a day to go through all of these treasures and figure out what each of them are. But you. I mean, it's a good sized chunk of loot.
Can we loot it and we can identify it in a safer place where there's not geysers and potential boom boom froggy thingies everywhere.
Yeah.
Why do you feel disappointed that it was easy?
Because we're looking for something that they're looking for, and I don't just think it's treasure.
Well, the man's treasure is another man's trash.
And we don't.
I don't understand that saying.
I'm gonna look around for more things.
But we don't know what the magistrate was looking for, right? He never told us.
Mm-mm.
No, we melted his face before that.
We know it wasn't live well water or void water, so.
Kess, make an investigation check if you're looking around.
Guidance. Okay. 13 plus
13.
No. Investigation.
God, no.
How
Yeah.
dare you?
19.
19.
No. 30 20.
Okay. With a dirty 20, you look around 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You don't find anything else. You don't know if this is just like random. You know that this is like a super secluded point. You don't know if maybe there's just a little bit less stuff here because of how difficult it is to access, or you don't know if you don't find anything else, is what I'm saying.
Okay. So I say we take this back to Mardosta immediately. Yeah.
We can identify there
Yeah.
where it's safe.
Yeah. Sound good?
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we go to Shallow Grave. Sorry, couldn't think of the name of it.
I'm in.
Okay.
Before we reach in, though, we know that things are magic, but can we tell if anything's cursed or like any of the items are magic?
You can make a quick Arcana check if you want to. Like it's not the same as like identify, but you would like.
I detect magic and see kind of what the schools are, I guess.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay.
And I got a 26 on
26.
Arcana.
Okay. So with a 26 Arcana, you don't sense any immediate danger.
Okay.
That's a pretty high Arcana check. And that was a pretty high DC too, because that's not, anything that should be super easy to pick up. But with Detect Magic, Yeah, there's just a whole slew of different types of magic. There's conjuration, there's evocation, there's just all sorts of several different schools of magic. Nothing that stands out as particularly insidious.
Okay, yeah, we should just load it up and go before someone we don't want showing up shows up.
I agree.
Unless you all want to go sightseeing a bit more while we're here.
We can always come back later.
That's true. You recognize the tree? That's a lovely tree.
That's a good one.
All
You
right.
hear frogs croaking loudly as if singing to each other as you cast. I imagine you're casting.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
you're
the
doing
doorknob.
doing a doorknob. Yeah. So as you put the doorknob in a familiar familiar doorway that you've grown to know and love over the past few days opens up, you hear frogs singing to each other from across this swamp, this weird volcanic geysic swamp, and you step through and you're in the greenhouse in Mardosta. Dragging a
Somebody grabbed the treasure, right?
fairly I imagine a couple of you, like I'm not gonna make you say that, like that would be absurd, but yeah, you there are it's pretty heavy, so it probably took a couple of you carrying it, but you're now in the greenhouse.
Before we did, I would have been like, Kess, do you recognize what those frogs are saying at all, or what they're singing?
I mean, I'll have to cast. I can only speak with plants today, not frogs.
Okay. Well, I, if possible, could Pangu commit the frog song to memory and like attempt to give it back to Kess?
Make an intelligence check.
Guidance.
Oh god. Okay. 4. Oh, 23.
Okay, yeah, it's ribbit, 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 ribbit. I can't keep that up.
I'm gonna remember that, and then at some point in the future, when Kess has that, when you can talk to animals, I'm going to speak that out loud and see if you can understand what it was. I'm just curious, if it was like an ancient magic frog song or something.
Yeah. One day we could go back and take a vacation there, and then we can do it.
Yeah.
You'd want a vacation there?
People love the swamp.
I would like to probably vacation on the ocean and then maybe travel into the swamp specifically for the frog song.
Y'all are fucking weird.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm sorry,
We do
Pierce.
magic, Pierce.
Did you just figure that out?
So do you pop out of the treasures out like it's like a Halloween horde? Just look at all the stuff.
Yeah. I'll just. I don't think Kess is very interested in any of it. I think she's disappointed. So she's not really going through it.
Pongo's just gonna systematically start casting Identify on things then.
Okay. So you guys are spending the rest of the day in Mardosta then, yes?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Pierce and be weirdly quietly stalky / clingy. I don't know how to explain it, but when wherever he's at, I'm probably there just watching.
Okay. And Pongu, I will get back with you on the specifics of the treasures that are in there. But as you guys count everything out, you find 57 platinum and a smattering of like 250 gold and 117 silver.
While Pongu's going through stuff, Pierce is just gonna sit, and he You know how poker players will take their poker chip and they roll it across the top of their knuckles?
Yeah.
So he's going to be doing that with the happy bullet. The bullet that has the little happy face painted on it. He's like rolling it over the top of his hand and fidgeting with it.
That's the creepiest thing Pierce has ever done. That's so unsettling.
Actually, I think the creepiest thing that Pierce has ever done was walk into his captain's room and ask for a book of porn.
That's up there. That's up there also as well.
Fine literature.
Not Pierce.
But wasn't it though?
So at
Captain
this
Riddick
point in the
thinks
day,
it was.
yeah, Riddick for sure thinks it does. So at this point in the day, it is late afternoon, early evening. You guys are covered in mud and have a weird smell stuck in your nose from being in an odd and very, very humid locale. What would you all like to do?
While Pongo is identifying things, Q wants to grab like the most dangerous looking one and start whipping it around like he knows what he's doing.
Of course.
Okay. So yeah, there's
shiniest.
there's a both there's a pair of nunchucks, silver
Yeah.
silver nunchucks.
Yes, he has got a pair of silver nunchucks that he is trying. He's sort of tried to sneak it off, a little bit, and is whipping it back and forth, like
Make a
he knows what he's
dexterity
doing.
check for me, Q.
Oh, he's so dexy. It's gonna be great. It's a good thing. This is gonna go well. 13.
So you're whipping around the nunchucks and they're making really cool sounds and you're really into like you imagine that it looks so fucking cool and then it whacks you in the back of the head.
Oh, I went the other
Now I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, he's so wise. He's such a good wiser.
Oh, nice.
1.
21?
Yeah.
Okay, so you hear this whispering in your head.
Good.
Oh, I bet you think you look so fucking, you look like a dipshit. You look like a fucking moron. You look like you suck. I hate you. You suck. But you're able to like shrug off these vicious nunchucks. You're able to shrug off the sadness that these nunchucks almost caused you. You do still take
That makes sense.
8 points of psychic damage,
Yeah.
but you're able to like you hear the nunchucks talking to you and you're like, yeah, and you kind of put them away.
I just handed back to Pongo. I'm like, you can have the nun fucks.
Oh, it's like a grocery store cashier, like picking up things and like scanning them. It takes like 11 minutes for each item though, so it's a very slow scan, like across his forehead or something. And you hear a little boop.
Yeah.
I
Price check on.
I do have something that I would like to do. Okay. I'm leaving Pierce with them. Like if he's like hanging around them, even quietly, like I'll.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm gonna go to my room.
Okay.
And I have all kinds of like things hanging on the wall and stuff, like dried leaves and little like pieces of art that I did of plants and things like that. And I'm gonna just grab a couple things and I'm gonna go to the main like living quarters of the floor, like kind of like the of the like the living room, like and I imagine like the Shadowmoor estate as like it's all super fancy, but the third floor where they actually live is just there's just some weird quirkiness like maybe like one of her father's like trinkets that he's really proud of, like displayed, like, you know, like things like that. Like artwork that Kes did whenever she was little, like hung up on the wall, or just, you know, little like family trinkets and things. And she's going to take one of the frames from her room and put the Pierce's eagle claw print, like the ink print, and frame it and hang it on the wall with all the family stuff.
Okay.
And just not say anything and just leave it.
Okay. So yeah, between your father's prized flamethrowing accordion and I'm
sure all the kids have things on the wall. Like
yeah. Rook, like there's a drawing of like, or like a formula basically for, and this is actually a new addition that you're actually noticing for the first time, but like as he got into potion making and things, like this is a formula that he had of something that he had created himself, and it's like really, really nicely framed in a shadow box. Zev has a nice oil on canvas painting of a pot leaf that he's drawn, that he's painted.
I'm sure
like,
Voss's diploma is there with all their weird stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Voss has a like a like a doctorates in organic engineering.
Yeah.
And so all of that, and then just a little footprint of a bird is just hung right up there with it all.
Kes has little watercolorings of like mixed media plant leaves and things on there.
Okay.
So, and then I go back to the group.
Okay.
The second that Kes leaves, Pierce wants to sneak away from Pongu and Q. And his goal, he's trying to find. He's either looking for Zev or somebody. Zev is Star Wars Rebels. Zev. Zev. Or someone who's working at the working on the estate that might be able to give him direction.
Okay. Which would you prefer to find?
I guess Zev. He'll probably look for Zev first.
Yeah, you find like you see a few people walking around, but they look incredibly busy. After a few minutes of looking, you find Zev in the kitchen. He's just like rummaging. He's looking specifically at this point. He's looking for a bottle opener for a bottle of wine.
Hey, Zev.
Hey, are you guys back already?
Yeah, I don't know how long we're gonna be here. Listen, if I need to send a letter somewhere, how do I do that? Is there anybody here that can get a letter out?
Yeah. If you just there's a mail bin in Mom's office. If you just want to take it and drop it in there, it'll get sent out pretty quickly.
Okay.
Is everything all right? Your whole shit is, your vibe is fucked.
Yeah, shit's fucked. We're okay. Everyone's okay.
All right.
And shit is fucked.
That's the nature of life, isn't it?
Yep.
On a good day.
Nature of life. So, was that up to point me the direction?
Yeah, it's just and then he like points. It's just go down a second, and then he gives you like this intricate set of directions. You're able to remember it. I'm not gonna make you roll for that. That'd be absurd.
Sure.
But yeah, you find your way down there, and you've been over there before.
So Pierce makes his way over. He looks for the office in the mail bin and looks for just like a pen, paper, and envelope. If I don't know if those things would be things laying about.
Yeah.
If it's like An office
quill and a
probably
scroll of
has stuff
parchment,
like
yeah.
that. So he tears a piece on it, tears off a piece, and he writes on the note, I don't know if this is going to find you, but I'm sorry. And then he signs his name, and he puts it in an envelope. And then on the top of it, he writes, Eileen, gives the whereabouts, the address, so to speak, in Evercrest. And then he sort of looks at it and shrugs and puts it in the outgoing mail.
Okay. Yeah, easily enough. You're able to do that.
And then he tries to sneak his way back to the group, back to where Pongu and Q fucking around with nunchucks.
Q
He does
is
not
like-
want them to know he was gone.
Yeah, Q is telling Pongu how much Pierce needs these self-hating nunchucks. Like maybe if somebody else was insulting him, he'd insult himself less. And I'm assuming Pongu is not paying attention. He's
It's like when you're trying to talk to a grocery store cashier and they're like, yeah, sure, yeah.
just, he seems to respond really well to like negative reinforcement.
Mm. Is it worse if he gets extra though?
I think it would enemy of my enemy is a friend kind of thing. Like he would like himself more because they hate him.
Okay, interesting.
It's just they're mean.
I'll scan those next.
Mean chucks.
Did Pierce go through the living area?
He would have had to,
Had to. Okay.
right?
Yeah, I'm probably guessing, maybe possibly, I would be gone by then. Maybe possibly.
I love.
I
that
would
sentence.
think so.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
probably guessing that maybe possibly.
Pierce, just for the fun of it, make a stealth check real quick. It's not
Yeah.
a very high DC, but
Sure.
just to resolve that question.
This is a advantage, so we reroll, and it's a 23.
Yeah, I would imagine with that you're able to find your way around and find your way to the second floor and back to Norse's office without really having to come into contact with anybody.
Okay. Yeah, Pierce makes his way back in and just sort of finds another spot wherever Pongu's. He's not in exactly the same spot. Like if Q looks up, maybe Pierce is not exactly where you left him, but he's there.
No. Oh yeah. We weren't talking about you. I mean, like I know you've been here this whole time. It's fine. I'm trying to be quiet. Pongu, what are those?
Sorry, I had to put in a different code.
4113.
Wrong department.
Fuck! I scanned that one twice.
I need a manager.
Pongu, I have a coupon for that thing you scanned 16 minutes ago.
Oh, fuck, I have to redo it everything. No. How many items are there?
There are 8 magical items. So it not 8. Sorry, there are 8. They're all said. There are 14 magical items.
14.
Counting
okay.
scrolls and things.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
14 times. It'll take me about 2 hours to finish everything, so I'm just.
Slowest line ever.
I'm sorry, everyone called out.
I just kind of sneak back in the greenhouse where everyone's at.
Okay. Wait, everybody's in the greenhouse? I thought everybody was in the living quarters.
The living quarters
guys
is where
stay-
I went to do the thing
Okay.
that I was
Yeah,
hiding.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So at this point, it's early evening. Do you guys have anything you'd like to do before the day comes to a close? Okay.
I think so.
I'm gonna
So
grow a
you-
flower, but I'm not gonna.
Sure. So you go through your evening routine. You can all take a long rest. You're all, you're all more or less left alone. You know,
Get really clean.
yeah, you get nice and clean, squeaky, and then sun rises, bustling morning in Evercrest. People getting excited for the
Mardosta.
less
Mardosta.
freezing Mardosta. Yeah, I'm
That's what
tired.
he said the whole time.
That's what I've been saying this whole fucking time. So, yeah,
Has he
so-
really?
No.
Oh.
Excited for warmish spring day here in Mardosta.
I'm
And with
gonna
that, the day is yours.
go get Pongu really early and go to the kitchen, like take him to the kitchen so he can cook in the kitchen and help him.
Oh god, it's so nice having so many knives and utensils here instead of just having to use magic fingers and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I'm
Did you
just
sleep well?
trying to make coffee. Uh-huh.
Everything okay?
Is Pierce okay? Did he talk in his sleep or anything or do anything weird last night? Is he fine? Is he good? Is he stressed?
To be quite honest, I've just had this ringing in my ear since doing all those identifies. So I didn't recall anything. I don't think. Actually, would I have, Pierce? Were you saying anything in your sleep?
Oh, everybody froze!
And he was resting.
Pongu mage hands a teapot over and starts pouring some tea and goes, "Kiss."
Hold on. Everybody just froze and I didn't hear any of that.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, you're good. Pongu's gonna mage hand a teapot and tea things over, and he's gonna start pouring some tea for him and Kess, and is just gonna mischievously go, "So Kess, this just curious is that there's a particular, I don't know, deeper investment in Pierce's emotions lately. Is that
best friend?
Yeah.
Also best friend. Q also best friend.
okay? Yeah, that's all. Wasn't alluding to anything else. I was
Okay.
just curious.
Yeah. Just care about everybody a whole great big buttload.
Yeah, interesting. And that's it, yeah. Only caring about best friends.
Well, I love you all, but like, I'm always really awkward, so I don't say that nor like that
Sure.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pongu's just setting up some more scones and stuff. Interesting. How are you feeling lately? I mean, after yesterday, you seemed a bit, I don't know. Just after we saw the treasure chest, you seemed not upset, but I don't know, bothered you? I don't know.
I just thought that we would find what they were looking for before they found it, and it wasn't there that we know of. And also, I made a life well, and that's kind of weird, honestly. That's weird, right? That's weird, right? That's different. That's not that. I'm not celestial. No.
Sometimes people don't know what's in their bloodlines, Cass.
No.
I mean,
Pongu, no, you're crazy. No.
I mean, look, Cass,
No.
I am part of hundreds of thousands of face spawn who claim connection to a mother that doesn't really have anything to do with them outside of birthing them. So I get your lineage, people's lineages are very complicated. And as your parents told you, changeling DNA could be comprised of so many different Oh, DNA is not a word in this world. Changeling blood lines could be, from so many different places.
No. 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 No.
Hey,
No. No.
have you ever
No.
spoken to, like, I don't know, a blood oracle of some sort? I don't know if those exist here on this plane. Interesting.
It's just
Interesting.
it's
He
a lot of
raps on his
pressure.
teeth.
It's just a lot of pressure. And I have just accepted the fact that we might possibly have to save the world. And I keep saying it out loud because I feel like it's just kind of a funny thing, but also it is kind of a real thing. There's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah. But think of it this way. If anyone else had to save the world and it wasn't you, who else would you rather it be if not Pierce and Q and me?
I would rather not, y'all. Because, not that you can't do it, but I don't know what's gonna happen, and it's honestly terrifying.
It's okay to be scared of things we don't know we don't know about the future, right? It's not everything's predictable. I mean, I dabble with time and I barely know what I'm doing, but if I can do it and it helps the people I care about, and I care about you all and the world, I will do whatever I can to make sure that you all, nothing comes to harm you.
It's just like, what about you?
I've lived a very long life, Kes. If you find things worth living for when you're as old as I am, especially after you see so many things die that you love.
I'm sorry, I'm very overwhelmed.
Oh, when it comes to things that we love, like our friends and family, then I think it's a marker of what we care about and what we're willing to sacrifice and do for people, yeah? And people have different gauges of how they create family or friends. And I know it's weird that sometimes I just approach everyone like they're a friend, but until people prove otherwise, I love everyone. Because people often don't get loved. And that's part of why sometimes the world can be so shitty.
I just like fall over and hug him.
I wrap her with my wings.
No.
There's a little
Top
floor.
3 or 4 hugs you've ever had, Guess. Like a winged fairy hug is like a dope hug.
Glitter and floral scents, but not like overwhelmingly Bath and Body Works, but just like a subtle.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll be okay. We'll be okay. I'll make sure of it.
At this point, Pierce waltzes into the eating area, and he's got like big dark circles under his eyes, but he like cracks his fingers and he goes,
All right, where's the food? It's Pongu breakfast time.
Pongu waves his hand like Lumiere. It's like, oh, it's just that little bit. It's a fucking spread because it's a proper kitchen. It looks like a goddamn breakfast buffet. I just made a little bit.
I cut the fruit.
Excellent. Do you guys want me to make you any? Do you want me to fix you a plate or whatever?
Oh, I can fix my plate and Q's plate. And where is Q? Well.
I was letting him nap because, you know,
Yeah.
it's his favorite fucking thing. So
Yeah.
figured. But yeah. No, this is Pongu. Life before Pongu did not have breakfast in it. Not like this. Life after Pongu. I both appreciate and hate that I've grown accustomed to this, because now I don't know what I would do without this breakfast.
Oh, you don't have to. Pierce, the breakfast will always be there for you. Always be there for you.
Pierce starts eating.
Get your plate and come here. I want to show you something.
You okay?
Yep. And I take him
He
to
stopped.
the
He's
family
like,
wall.
he's got food like in his mouth. I was like,
Okay.
bacon. Yeah.
Yeah. And I take him to the family wall.
That's a lot of shit.
Mhm.
Is that your dad's accordion?
Yeah. It
Does he
doesn't.
play?
It doesn't work very well, and it kind of sets some things on fire. But you know, he's really proud of it.
Jesus. Like a
Yeah.
Blink 182 concert.
Yeah.
Which one of these is yours?
The floral one. The leaves. And that leaf. And that leaf.
Yeah, I should have guessed.
That turkey is Zev's. It's a hand turkey.
Yep. Yep, that's why I like it here. This is what I thought a family was supposed to be like.
Weird hand turkeys?
Yeah. Yeah, weird hand turkeys, awkward sentimentality. It's cute.
And I just pat him on the back and walk away and let him stare at it. I don't say anything about his.
You don't point out the.
I don't point out his. I think she just got really awkward. And she's just gonna let him eat his breakfast and stare at it.
Is that near the kitchen?
No, it's in the living area, which is like right across from it's close to the kitchen. Like you can walk out of the kitchen and walk into it.
I was eavesdropping like a motherfucker then.
Yeah, Pierce isn't looking for anything specific, so unless it jumps out to him, I don't think he's gonna notice.
I mean, there's not that many things there, and it's black and white. Like,
Do you think it would stand out? Like,
I think so, but you
Okay,
could always
okay.
roll perception, and the DM could determine. I don't know.
yeah, do I notice it?
I would think it would be hard not to notice it, Pierce.
Okay,
Honestly.
okay.
Like, I was going to let you guys just handle that on your own, but
Sure,
since you
yeah.
asked,
Cass
like,
got weird.
Yeah,
She cut.
that's got weird, and
if you stand
Now
there
it's
for
not
any
up to
amount of
us.
time, you're going to see it.
Okay, so after she leaves, Pierce is gonna like give it a glance over, like, yeah, that's pretty cool, and then he's gonna stop and he's gonna notice it, and at first he's gonna be like, "Is that my fucking bird foot?" And he's just gonna like, why would that be there? And then he takes another second. And then he realizes what it means. And he walks back out and joins everybody.
Okay.
Next time you see him, he's got like a little bit more like color back in his face.
Okay. So you all enjoy your breakfast. Pierce is starting to feel a little bit more of himself. What is the plan for the day?
Going to Shallow Grave.
Okay. How are you getting there?
I'm
And when do you
gonna
go?
I'm gonna tree.
Okay. You're gonna tree. You're gonna tree
I'm
there?
sorry, and wow, that means something whenever you're healing. And
Sure.
it's anyways, I'm
You're gonna travel by tree.
We're gonna travel by
plant.
tree. Yeah.
Okay. So you wrap up, unless there's any other business you would like to take care of here in Mardosta. You wrap up and make your way to the greenhouse, find a plant, take a look around, belly full of Pongu breakfast. You cast the spell on the tree and you step through. There is a familiar glow that you're used to at this point. The second you all step through, can I get a marching order? Who's going first?
Oh, that's never a good freaking sign. Kess is gonna be last because she's gotta
You gotta hold it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Pierce would go first.
Pierce,
You follows Pierce.
Q, Pongu, Cass.
Oh my god, marching order. Oh my god. Okay.
So, as you all step through, just one right after the other, Pierce, you step through and you step through a tree. This is a familiar place that you've been to Shallow Grave. It's been several months. The moment you step through, you hear pew, and a cannonball crashes into a building. And you look above you, and you see green fingers of smoke spreading out across. You hear footsteps of soldiers on land. Shallow Grave has been invaded. As you are looking and hearing these marching boots and seeing these tendrils of smoke searching Shallow Grave, and you see ships on the harbor and you hear cannon fire, Pongu, you hear a voice in your head. Pongu, I know you're traveling, but I need your help. Nylina, something is wrong. She was experimenting. Something is terribly wrong. I've not heard from her. I need your help. I need you here now.
I'm assuming I identify the voice as Nyx.
That's Nyx, yes.
The tiefling assistant of my teacher.
Mhm.
I immediately respond, I can be on my way. Do you have a way of getting me there quicker?
I'm sorry. Nylina is. I don't know where she is. You'll have to see.
Okay. I immediately, looking at this carnage and looking at my adventuring compatriots, go, I realize this is the worst time that I need to do this. But Pongu removes a satchel and he's like, these are all the magic items I identified yesterday. I put a little tag on them so you know what each thing does. Please save me a spell or two so I can copy it onto me. I have to go, and you know I wouldn't go
Don't.
if my teacher.
Back through the tree.
My teacher is in trouble. I think something's wrong.
I hand him the doorknob.
Pongu takes it and looks down at it, and tears are starting to well up in his eyes, and goes, I wouldn't leave you all if it wasn't important.
Right. Pierce turns away.
He grabs the satchel from him, turns away.
Pongu looks at Kess.
Give me 3 scones.
I hand all 5 scones of the day to Kess. And he takes the knob. And so I can just,
You,
and it'll,
you may have to run away and attune to it. I don't remember, but
okay.
it should get you back to the mansion.
Yeah.
Right, Zach?
Yes.
Okay.
Pongo, here's one of my hate potions. Bye.
I take it from Q. Pongu just looks at the 3 of them, and just says, I'll be in touch, and I'll see you soon. Unless... And he just trails off, and he lifts off and floats away from the carnage of Shallow Grave.
So, as Pongu floats away, the 3 of you stand
Holding
watching him
scones.
go. Holding scones,
Holding a satchel.
holding a satchel, seeing absolute warfare crumbling a city that you were at not too long ago in real time. That's where we're going to end tonight's session. Pongu is going to be away for an episode or 2, hopefully not too terribly long, but
Pongu will return in A Day to Live or Die.
And we'll deal with the emotional ramifications of his leaving when he gets back.
good session, you guys.
Well done.
Thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. Don't forget, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, keep an eye out for a pretty big announcement coming up here in the next few days. Take care of yourselves. Take care of... Be nice to yourself and somebody else in your life. We love you incredibly so very much. Meeting adjourned.
Bum,
Good night.
bum.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh.
Bum, ba-dum, bow, wow.
God.